Greetings, my fellow Americans. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. It's Thursday, August the 2nd, 2012. I'd like to take the time and say thanks once again for watching and listening to my videos. I appreciate all the comments, the kind words, the support. I really do. It's great. A lot of people think I should run for elected office, and I've already discussed that. If I run, I won't get elected. Some people say that, they say, you always seem to be hitting the nail on the head when you make these videos. Well, to me, it's just common sense, but I guess common sense isn't so common nowadays. It really isn't. In fact, things might get a little too serious here in the state of Oregon. Recently, in I guess in Central Oregon, I think it might have been Medford, Eugene, somewhere over there, a man is being threatened by the government to be put in jail for collecting rainwater. Now, I've waited a while to comment on this because I was pretty incensed by that. I mean, we already saw that happen, that one lady in Utah, but now it's where I live, Oregon. Behind me, that building, my garage. Oh yeah, I didn't build that garage according to Obama. Anyway, I collect rainwater. See, here in Oregon, we get a lot of rain, 50, 60 inches a year. I got about 1,000 square foot of roof over there. And off of that roof, I can collect about 30,000 gallons of water a year if I so choose. Now, the article I read, there was some government official that stated that the state, the government, owned the rain. Are you freaking kidding me? He stated that with a straight face. He wasn't joking. The government owns the rain. How absurd is that? I mean, it's just one of those things so preposterous that you're just stunned in disbelief. The government owns the rain. It's one of those things that begs the question, what next? Does the government own the air? Are we going to have to wear masks with meters on them so we pay by the cubic liter of air that we breathe? They're going to tax us on the air? They're going to tax us on rain? It's ludicrous. Do you understand now why the forefathers put in the Second Amendment? Think about it. The Second Amendment. Not the Fifth or the Seventh, but it's second. Think about the order of importance. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, that's number one. And number two is the right to bear arms. Because if you can't bear arms, you can't have freedom of the press or freedom of the speech. You have to be able to protect it. Now, they didn't say it was the 10th Amendment, second. And it makes one think, isn't it about time maybe we start using that Second Amendment? I mean, I know I will. Can you imagine somebody coming up here and telling me I can't collect water off of that roof? I'm sorry, but me and Mr. Remington strongly disagree with that statement. And I don't think you want Mr. Remington to get involved. I really don't want him to get involved either, but he will if they try and tell me I can't collect rainwater. I mean, it's just crazy. But the thing is, You have to understand something. The government doesn't exist. In reality, it doesn't. You know, we talk about the government as though it's an entity. It's not. It's a concept. Once again, it exists only in your mind. You might want to say, well, government's like a company. There's companies out there. No, once again, a company is a concept. It exists in your mind. I start a company. What have I done? I just said I started a company. I mean, I could draw up legal documents and incorporate, or have a limited liability corporation or partnership, but it's conceptual. Oh, I could build a building, but that's a building. That's not a company. It's the same with the government. You point to the state capitol, that's a building. That's not the government. You see, it's people. It's kind of like Soylent Green. It's people. We say these people work for the government, but isn't the government supposed to be all the people? So who are they working for? They working for you and me? No. They forgot that long time ago. So, once again, you're trapped in the matrix. A world of make-believe. Because it doesn't exist. The government really doesn't exist. It only exists in our minds because we agree to certain things. We agree to obey the laws, at least some of us do, and if you don't, then you pay the consequences, or suffer the consequences, if you get caught. And it's just that simple. I was, looking at what Harry Brown had to say about government and what Robert Ringer has to say about government. And I agree with them. The government and the mafia, they basically supposedly provide the same services. Thing is, the mafia does a little bit better job. In a mob town, mob neighborhood, you don't see the problems you see in the other places. Everybody knows what happens if you break their laws. You get broken swiftly. Justice is swift there. Everybody knows it. They all toe the line. If they don't, they might get some concrete shoes. Cement overcoat. But this thing about the government, it's really gotten out of hand. And that's why I talked about revolution. See, we really don't need revolution. We need a cleansing. Or as Prince said, this country needs an enema. We need to clear out all those people in government. Because they're just perpetuating themselves. You've got all these ABC forms of government, this agency, that agency, and now Obama's created all these czars instead of going through Congress like you're supposed to appoint, secretaries of this, that, and the other thing. And they do these things, they spend their money on stuff that doesn't work. Government, for the most part, really doesn't work. They do some things right, but other things, they just botch it. And they keep doing it over and over and over again. And we, the people, we allow it to happen. Part of the problem is that if you're called to serve, you probably won't. If somebody asks you to serve on some committee, you probably go, no, I don't want to get involved. No, I don't have time for that. No, I don't want to have to listen to all that crap. Basically all valid reasons, but then because you didn't serve, somebody else does, and you see what happened, so it's your fault, my fault. But they usually don't ask me to serve on committees because I wouldn't tolerate the BS. No, I would not be politically correct. I'd call things as they are. I wouldn't, it wouldn't be nice. At least they didn't think I'm nice because they call me rude because I'm direct. I'm to the point. I don't sugarcoat it. If I think something's stupid, I'm going to say that's stupid. I'm not going to try and say that nicely. What's the point? It's like, let's get to it and get it done. See? But government isn't like that. They want to make everybody happy. Guess what? You can't make everybody happy all the time. It's not the point. It's not the purpose. Purpose is to get things done, make things happen. But government is not about that. It's about policy and procedure. Just like the law many times, it's about policy and procedure. It's not about truth. You know, the prosecutors aren't going for the proof. They just want to prove that, you know, this guy did it. If they think this guy did it, then all their efforts are directed at proving this guy did it, as opposed to finding out who really did it, what really happened. Now, I know you're thinking, man, you're really all over the board in this video, but that's the point. You know, you've got government saying that they own the rain, which it's just stupid. And from there you can see just how things have gotten the way they are. But government is people, all of us, and we agree to it. And if we didn't agree to it, we'd probably be a lot better off. Harry Brown claims that, you see, if we didn't have government, we wouldn't have nations. Because what is a nation? It's an area of land that is controlled by a government which is sovereign entity. And it has a mechanism in place that's the government, you know, buildings and people and rules and laws. But then when another country wants to invade, you know, they fight the government, and whoever loses, well then the victor takes over that government mechanism. But if we had no government, it'd be really hard to take over the country, because they'd have to take over each person, basically wipe us all out. And I don't think they want to try that. At least not in the state of Oregon. There's more guns than people here. Isn't that interesting? Because most people here own multiple weapons. You know, handgun, shotgun, rifles. You know, for hunting, getting rid of varmints, home protection, target practice. But the government really doesn't exist. It's in your mind. So you got to get your mind right. As they said in Cool Hand Luke, got to get your mind right. So you don't just roll over and take it. You just can't do that anymore. And so when you hear something stupid, like the government owns the rain, it's time to take a stand. And what's really bad is if the government owns the rain, then I think when the roof leaks, they should have to pay for it. Because I believe in law, if you own something, you're responsible for it. You know, if I had a herd of cows and they got loose and they ran over to my neighbor's property and destroyed their fences and crops, I think I'd be responsible for it, right? You know, if I drove my truck through their gate, I'd be responsible for it. You know, if I did anything or something that I own affected my neighbor, I'd be responsible for it. So if the government owns the rain, then they're responsible for the damage it caused if my roof leaks. It can't have it both ways. You see how ludicrous this is? And I guess what I probably should do is do a little research. Find out the history when they stated that they own the ring. I'm just curious what year that was. I wonder if it was before I was born. I just wonder how many people allowed that to happen. Wake up, America. Smell the hypocrisy.